What's up, sports fans? Ryan Kostrowski, that's here at the DFS 5-pack. Let's just talk some free DFS tips. Just go over them, review them. Maybe it'll give a few of you guys something else you can throw into your arsenal of things that you do in order to try to win yourself some money on a nightly basis. And hopefully that will work out for everyone. So let's jump right in. All right, guys. So again, as covered already, this is the DFS 5-pack. If you're new to the station, hit that red button that says subscribe. The goal is to continuously up your game, to get better at daily fantasy sports on a daily basis. You want to start getting some wins like my partner Matt Bellman got right there. I was a big night for him. Obviously, we wish that could happen every night. That's not going to be the case. I know it looks like that when you're on Twitter, and it looks like people are winning big money every single day. Those are few and far between, but it can be done. Not necessarily by everyone, but they are out there. So let's try to up our game on a daily basis. So before we jump into them, guys, there's a bunch of ways you can support the show. We love doing the free info for you guys, and we hope you appreciate it. To show that appreciation, it can be real simple. 1, press that red button that says subscribe if you're new. 2, give the old thumbs up. It does help spread us around YouTube, helps pay those bills. 3, if you want the full breakdown for daily fantasy sports, sign up to be a member. And if you don't want to pay the full membership price and you just like the free info, but you feel like buying us a glass of whiskey every month or something like that, you can go to the link that says patreon.com out there. You can pledge $1 a month, $2 a month, just to be nice. We appreciate anything you guys want to do. That being said, let's jump into it, guys. So number 1, it still dumbfounds me sometimes if I get a new customer or I'm talking to somebody on one of the YouTube channels and they don't currently have a Twitter account, guys. Twitter is your best friend. Take this as motivation. If you haven't already started it, go create a Twitter profile. Doesn't matter what your name is. Go on there, start following places like Basketball Monster and Fantasy Labs. All this information just like that will help you immensely. And there's a bunch of it out there. And if you don't know who to follow, just go to the search bar, type in Daily Fantasy Sports or DFS or DraftKings or FanDuel, and just start going to town. Follow people. And then if there's somebody they end up not liking, unfollow that ass later on. It doesn't really matter, but you can get a plethora of information all over Twitter. You can meet other like-minded DFS players that will help you along the way. It's really up to you how you want to utilize it. But there's a million people on Twitter with some pretty good information. You can get beat reporters for the NBA, whatever it might be. This will help you a lot. You won't find out anything faster than you'll find it over Twitter because information is instantaneous. So if you've been thinking about it and just haven't done it yet, maybe you think you're too old for social media. Maybe you think Twitter's for the old people and you're too young. I don't care. Twitter is a great place for DFS info. Next up. So this is one that I think not only when it comes to daily fantasy sports, but just in life in general, it's difficult for the majority of people to accept their weaknesses and realize that there is possibly something that they're not good at or they could improve upon. So try to recognize what that might be. And sometimes, for me, sometimes I probably think I'm smarter than I am. And that happens to not be the case all the time. Sometimes I'm a real dumbass and I need to remember that, and that there are other really, really bright people out there that can get the jump on you. And what I mean by that a lot of times is if there's a guy who's really, really popular and you don't just quite get it, look into it further. Perhaps there's a reason he's popular. Maybe there's a reason the whole world is going to be rostering him because it makes too much sense. But accept the fact that there are other really bright people out there. And that, for me, I know is one of my weaknesses. And it's not underestimating your competition, I guess, is a big way to look at it. Another one for me is we spend a lot of time doing this stuff during the day, making videos, writing things up, going through DFS players over and over again. I get lazy when it comes to setting my finalized lineup at the end of the night. Quite simply, when we first started doing this and was just doing like the old school, like lineup selling, I would spend an hour, 2 hours just going over that lineup over and over and over again. Now that we build a core for people and then talk about our plays, I might spend 2 minutes some days just filling it up, like this guy, like this guy, like this guy. And I know that's a personal struggle of mine. And on the days that I really spend more time fixating on my lineup, I can guarantee you I have better results. So know what maybe you're not great at and try to get better at it. That doesn't go for just daily fantasy sports, but in life in general. Accept the fact that we all have flaws and try to improve on them on a daily basis, make you a better overall person. All right, next up. So context selection is something that in a weird way, is both vastly over and underrated. And, we'll get messages from time to time from people say, it looks like everybody in the group's winning. How come I'm not winning? Am I choosing the wrong contest? Look, there are no magic contests. If you're scoring 280 on NBA DFS and what's the best way to put it? It's not like 280 is going to crush in one spot and get your butt kicked in another. I personally like single entry double ups. I've had the best results with them. I know other people like head to head. For me, I have found single entry double ups to have the most consistent, predictable cash lineups, or cash lines, I guess is a better term of what I'm looking for right there. That's where I feel comfortable. That's what I play. To each his own, though. If you prefer the 50-50s, go for it. I'm a double up guy, been that way for 5 years. I like the single entries, but also realize which tournaments are bad bets. Now, if you walk into the Millionaire Maker playing NFL every Sunday, knowing darn well that it's a long-term bad solution, but you got extra, you got extra cheddar lying around and you just want to try to get more of it and win $1 million, hey man, to each his own. If that's what you're doing, if you're just out there doing some old school gambling and you want to try to become a millionaire, I get that. As long as you're willing to accept that it's a bad contest for long-term profitability, look at the way the paydown structure flips from 1 to 2 to 3 like that. So much of that money tiers of that first place that 99.9999999% of us will never get. It's just a shitty contest for long-term profitability. But if you understand that and you're good with it and just want to try to win $1 million, hey, who might have fault you? I want to be a millionaire. Who doesn't want to be a millionaire? We all want to be millionaires. So understand that. If you don't know which contest to choose, look at the way the payouts break down. Figure out what your goals are. If you're out there trying to win first place every day, cool. I get it. If you're entering a ton of contests and you're max entering them, cool. I get it. But if you're entering one lineup into a 200 multi-entry GPP, just know that there is a million different player combinations in there, and the odds of you getting it right are even smaller because there's out there people using optimizers, max entering that thing 200 times. Look for those single entries for more long-term profitability. If you stick to only GPP, I know we have a lot of customers who started off only playing GPP because they wanted to win big money. Then they found into the lure of cash and actually being able to win more consistently, even if it's just for your own confidence. That's great. If you're willing to accept the longer losing streaks from time to time and you just want to crush GPPs, that's cool too. We can all play this game a little bit differently and have our own versions of success or lack thereof. But just know what you're getting into. And if you do play only GPPs, you're going to have some losing streaks. So Matt's obviously not here today, but he plays a lot differently than I do. His goal every night is to try to win GPPs. And even though I would love to do that every single night, I never go into a night planning to do that. So he's going to be far more disappointed more often than I am. That being said, I don't get, he won $50K on a baseball tournament this summer. I haven't had any high or up or win anything close to that. Not even close. So I didn't get to enjoy something like that. Was I jealous? Yes, I was. Absolutely. Very, 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 very jealous. But that's just part of the game right there, guys. And when he's in a down slump and he hasn't won in 6 days and I've won cash 5 of those 6 days, he's probably a little jealous of me. But the game's different for all of us. Do what's best for you. All right, guys, don't spread yourself thin. I got a little ×2 in parentheses right there because I mean this for 2 different reasons. One, been there, done this a million times, have a tendency to do it way too often in baseball. There's so many guys that you like. You start spreading yourself super, super thin. You play 20 GPPs, and the main lineups you like that you felt really good about, they crush, and they bring back 4 times, 7 times, and 3 times your money, looking like it's going to be a great night. But then those 10 extra lineups you said, only one of them cashes. And what should have been a good night, you pissed away. Well, you won small or lost a little bit on what should have been a better night. So it is difficult not to roster everybody you like. There was, I liked John Collins tonight playing NBA. I only got him in 1 of 3 lineups because, as Matt always says, you can't roster everybody, but you feel the need to get to that. And I feel like for me, I make that mistake most often playing baseball. Maybe you guys do it in different sports. I find it easier to hone in on football, on the guys that I really, really like and not spread myself thin. That's why my football profit is probably significantly higher than it is in baseball. By a long shot. So that is one version of spreading yourself thin. The other one is, man, I hear about some of you guys playing on like 4 different sites and entering every contest all over. You can't I struggle to think that a lot of people can do that very successfully. And the reason behind that is you're not putting enough time and thought into what it is that what you're doing, man. Do it and do it well. You know, a day doesn't go by where I don't have people ask me, why don't you cover FanDuel as well? It's hard enough just to keep up with DraftKings. And while the game's pretty close, it's a little bit different. And I don't want to, just to try to get more customers, start trying to cover FanDuel and Yahoo and DraftKings. There's just not enough hours in the day. I would rather do what we do, try to do it to the best of our abilities, try to make that money, bring it home, instead of trying to do everything and be a little bit of everything. I don't know MMA. You know, I don't know, diddly squat about golf. I'm not trying to be good at all these sports. I know baseball, basketball, and football. I'll talk about those and try to do those. But I hear about people, entering everything, and that's just so tough. It's hard to be good at everything. So do what you feel comfortable with and go kick butt at it. All right. Finally, there's a new slate tomorrow, guys. Don't chase. And what I mean by that, and this is a classic case of practice what I say and not what I do, because what I will only chalk up to some of the weirdest coincidences. Not so far this year, because I don't think I've done it yet, but in NBA, I would say that over the past 2 or 3 years, like half of my GPP wins, which again, I don't play a lot, so that's only a handful from to begin with, have come when I was pissed off because my guy got hurt or got into foul trouble, and I threw some money into a late like 2 or 3 gamer and ended up having a real nice night. I chalk that up to random dumb luck. So I do not advise doing that. It can work out well from time to time, but usually I think more people end up getting emotional and making bad decisions, trying to win it all back on one slate, and then you double it up, and now your bankroll's down what it should be. Things happen. All the sports. Tonight in basketball, I lost cash lineups by 6 points, and I left. Gary Harris left in the first quarter. I lost by 6. Odds are, if he doesn't get hurt, I win tonight. Sucks. Didn't win. Lost. It's part of the game, though. And for all of you who didn't roster Gary Harris that won, appreciate it. Some nights you get lucky. Some nights you get unlucky. You can't control luck every single night. Mama always said, if given the choice between luck and skill, take luck every time. There are nights where you're going to get lucky. There's nights where you're going to be unlucky. You have very little control over it. Me, you, the moose in this picture, none of us can really control little things like that, and it's just part of the game. So don't get too pissed off too quickly and start donking off a bunch of money trying to win it all back in one night. Unless it's football, if it's baseball or basketball, there's a new slate tomorrow. Step up, walk away, take a few deep breaths, get back at it tomorrow. It's not going anywhere. Don't double up on your losses one night just because Russ Westbrook picked up 3 fouls in the first quarter and missed 8 minutes or something like that. All right, guys, that's what I got for you tonight, today, this morning, whenever you're watching it. Appreciate all you guys do for us by watching this show, tossing out the old thumbs up, subscribing, blah, 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 all the things that go along with it. So we really do appreciate you guys. Have yourself a good day, and I'll see you in the morning.